All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, this lesson, we're going to be looking at one particular group that fought in the Civil War. Okay. Now, these guys were the first of their kind, very unique group. And what they did um, in one particular event was very heroic. When other people were scared, these guys stepped up. So, they deserve to be recognized and commended for what they did. And you're going to find out what that was today. So here's your warm up picture. Now, the question I'm asking you is simply this: which side, based off the picture, based off your analysis of the picture, which side do you think is going to win this battle? Okay. So you see the guys in blue, and then the other guys, it's kind of like a beige, gray, brownish kind of color. Um, so which side do you think is going to win and why? Why do you say, oh, I think the guys in the beige are going to win or the guys in blue are going to win? Why do you say that? Okay. What evidence is there to show you, hey, these guys look like they're going to win? Okay. So pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. All right, so January 1st, 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation goes into effect. Now, here's the thing that I want you guys to understand: the Emancipation Proclamation did not free the slaves. Okay, this is a big misconception that people have when they think about Lincoln. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation, the slaves were free. No, 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 no. Okay, basically all it was a wartime measure. Okay, and it basically said that when the Union Army took over a territory, any person who was a slave is free because the North, the soldiers, right, when they came in, they can confiscate property, and that's how the Southern people saw the slaves, as property. So they're using that little loophole of, oh, these, they see them as property. Fine, we're gonna take them then, and then we're gonna make them free. Now, here's the problem though: if they did not end slavery by the time the war ended, a lot of these uh, former slaves, they would have to go back into servitude if they didn't get rid of slavery. That's why Lincoln was very adamant about getting the 13th Amendment passed, because the 13th Amendment would end slavery legally throughout the country. So he was really trying to get that through, you know, and get that done because, again, the Emancipation Proclamation was only a wartime measure. So once the war is over, then it goes away. And then those who were slaves had to go back into slavery. Okay. So again, try to understand that. Okay. Now, the thing is, there was an idea, a concept that maybe we should get African American men to fight, to join the army. And Lincoln's like, that's a great idea, but we need guys in suitable condition. Okay. Because you have to remember, a lot of these guys were beaten. If they ran away, they would get, hurt, things like that. Um, Sometimes that they constantly ran away. Sometimes they would like get their ankles busted and stuff like that. You know, um, so you can't really march if your ankle's been busted and stuff like that. Your knees, your back. So they wanted um, people, African Americans who were in suitable conditions. And again, remember Lincoln's goal. Even though he said, yeah, at the very beginning of the Civil War, he goes, if getting rid of slavery brought our country together, I'd do it. If uh, getting rid of it brought our country together, great. If keeping it slavery brought our country together, I'd do it. But the thing is, he didn't like slavery. He wanted to get rid of it. But his main goal was to bring our country together. But once he saw, hey, it's not coming together, he figured, hey, might as well now end the slavery issue. Okay, so that was his original goal: get rid of slavery. Let's do this. Now, February 1863, Massachusetts had a governor named John A. Andrews, and he basically helped set up uh, a regiment of black soldiers. So he put a call out. We need black soldiers. We want if you're African American, you want to be a soldier, sign up here with us. Here's the problem: in the state of Massachusetts, there wasn't that many black people anymore. A lot of them left uh, after some laws were passed, to where uh, these bounty hunter people can go and try to find runaway slaves in Massachusetts and take them back to the South. And some, free people, born free, black men were taken into slavery. You know, so if you ever seen the movie 12 Years a Slave, that's a great example. You know, now here's the thing: about 2 weeks later, 1,000 men come into Massachusetts and they're signing up to fight. Word spreads that, hey, a call for black soldiers was sent out, you know, and a lot of guys came from New York, Indiana, Ohio. Some guys even made it who were in Canada, who were legitimately free, decided to come back into the United States and fight to free other slaves. So guys like that, hey, they could have easily lived their life in Canada, but they said no. There's a wrong in this world. I was part of that. I know what it's like. I'm going to sign up to free those people. I mean, wow. Okay. Of the 1,000 men, about a quarter of them were from slave states. Okay. Um, and the thing is, like, fathers and sons signed up together. You know, um, Frederick Douglass, he helped set up this regiment of black soldiers. And thing is, like, a lot of politicians, let's go to war, let's go to war. But unlike some politicians, that they don't want their sons or daughters to go to war, Frederick Douglass said, I'm going to sign my boys up. And his sons, Charles and Lewis Douglass, were like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to fight. So that's the thing. He truly believed in that. He was willing to sacrifice his sons, and his sons believed in it so much they willingly said, yeah, great, let's do it. So the 54th Massachusetts was created. Now, it's one thing to have the soldiers. Now you need somebody to lead them, train them, and things like that. The problem was they had to find the right person. Because if they got somebody who had a bit of racism in them, looked down on these black soldiers, black citizens, and go, yeah, they can't do it. You can't train these type of people, type of stuff. If they did that kind of stuff, then this whole training and stuff like that, it's gonna fall down because those guys, that commander doesn't believe in the soldiers. But they found a guy. His name was Robert Gould Shaw. He was 25 years old, and he came from a family of abolitionists, people who truly believed in their heart and souls that slavery is wrong, it's evil, and should be gotten away with. So Governor Andrews knew the Shaw family and was like, yeah, this guy's pretty good. Yeah, this kid. He was wounded in the Battle of Antietam, but not like he lost an arm or legs, just a slight wound, you know. But the thing is, they were like, this kid, he's you know. Um, so Shaw takes the job. He's like, yeah, I'm honored. Thank you. So he's given the rank of a colonel. Okay. And they start training the guys, right? Marching, shooting, things like that. Now, word gets to the South that, hey, these guys are training black soldiers and there's white officers. So they send an announcement to everyone saying any black soldier caught, they're going to be sold into slavery. It doesn't matter if um, they're born free, not born free, whatever. We capture them, we're putting them into slavery. Any white officer that we capture, we're killing. No ands if or buts about it. So like Shaw, they would kill him. The other commanders below him, the captains and some of that, they'd kill him. Okay. Now here's the thing. This is not mentioned too much, but the thing is, they used to have prisoner exchanges back in the day. So, like, if someone had one side had a colonel, a captain, or whatever, something like that, they might say, "Okay, we'll give we want our captain back. We'll give you 10 regular soldiers." And they'd be like, "Well, no, no. How about since he's a colonel, make it 25, 18, 22, 20, deal." And then they would exchange. Okay. But the thing is, as soon as this happened with the 54th Regiment, this the and then they said, "Hey, we're going to put these black soldiers into slavery." The North said, "Well, we're not going to give you your soldiers back. If you capture a black soldier, we want him back." And they're like, "No, no, no. We told you we're going to put him into slavery." So the North said, "No, we're not going to give you any soldiers." The South said, "Fine, we're not going to give you any soldiers." So the whole prisoner exchange thing stopped once this happened. And this is going to prove vital in the destruction of the South. Okay. Now, as you can see from this poster here, it says right here that the soldiers were going to get paid $13 a month. They were going to get food and things like that, right? But when pay time came, the black soldiers were not given that $13 a month. They were only given like $8, $10. It was less. You know, and the thing is, the black soldiers were upset. Like, no, 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 you promised us $13. What happened? So they got upset, and then Shaw and the other white officers basically said, "Yeah, if you, the government, are not going to keep your word and pay them their money, we're not going to accept our money until you fix that." And this showed a unity between the white officers and the black soldiers, and that the white officers truly believed what's right is right. There's no ands if or buts about it, you know. And the black soldiers showed like they appreciated. Hey, these guys are backing us up. These white guys could have easily taken their money and just live the rest of their lives. But no, they saw, hey, this is a wrong, and we're not going to take our money until the government fixes it. So on May 28th, 1863, graduation day, basically, the 54th Massachusetts is a full regiment. You got 1,007 men and 37 white officers, and they head into the South. Now, they're planning to fight and go into battle right away and stuff like that. But the thing is, they're forced into manual labor, chopping down trees, making roads, things like that. Um, they're told, "Oh yeah, you guys are gonna go into this town. Go over there." And so they'd go, and the town's unguarded. There'd be like no soldiers there, just men, women, children, things like that. And that city had no importance in the fighting. The battles may be down here, and they would tell them take a town way up here. You know, and it's like, well, what's this town gonna do with the fighting down here? Or there's no fighting anywhere up here. Why is taking this town so important? It's not. So Shaw is kind of upset, like, you're just using us for manual labor and making us just take over towns that have no importance. So he's getting pretty upset. So eventually, the 54th Massachusetts does get into a couple fights, and they show that, hey, they can fight, they can win, you know. Um, but what ends up happening is they meet up with a bunch of other soldiers and commanders, and they're trying to take a particular fort called Fort Wagner. Now, Fort Wagner is right alongside the ocean. Okay, it's surrounded by sand. It's in a high position, and the thing is, um, it's almost impossible to to get there. You have to do a front on attack, and that front on attack is basically a suicide mission. So the commanders are like, okay, who is going to go first. And all these other commander guys are putting their hands down, like, not us, not us, heck no. And Shaw basically says, the 54th Massachusetts will lead the first attack. And they're like, oh, okay. So what their job is to bust through the lines, right? Bust through the wall of the fort, and then like spread out and create like a tunnel so that other groups can come in behind them. Okay. And that way they can just send a bunch of men into the fort and take over it. Okay. So Shaw and his men leave at dusk. That's when the sun's going down. And they attack at night. Now, the thing is, again, there's sand. And if you've ever ran through sand, like sprinting, it's pretty hard. It's pretty tough, you know. Um, so Shaw and his men, they're going through these dunes. They're going up and down these little things of sand, little hills of sand. And they get to the wall and they're trying to climb it, right? Um, the thing is, Shaw, when he's climbing the wall, he gets shot twice. Bam, bam, right in the chest. And his men, there's just something inside them that snaps. Here's this man who truly believed in every single one of them, and he dies right in front of them. So again, they just snap and they go into rage mode, and these guys start charging up the wall. They're climbing, and they're getting over the side. They're shooting some of the Confederates. They're getting their clubs after they shot their shot. They're beating them, and they're getting over the wall. Some guys are signaling, "Hey, we're going through. We're going through. Send them in. Send more men." You know, and they're busting through and they get inside, and all of a sudden they realize there's 1,700 soldiers inside waiting for them. These guys have guns ready to go, they have cannons. So of the 600, 281 are killed, wounded, or captured. Now, like I said, Shaw is dead with a lot of his men, and the Confederates, the Southern people, uh, basically dig a mass grave, a huge, huge grave, and are tossing all the black soldiers in, and they get Shaw and they toss him in. Now, here's the thing, back then in the South, to those white people who were racist, for a white person to be buried not only with black people or even next to them, that was seen as a disgrace. Okay, because you have to remember, back then there was segregation. Black people were buried here, white people buried over here. You did not mix them. And again, if you buried a white person with a black person, that was seen as like, oh, that person's bad. Oh, you really must have hated that person. you know so the Southern people sent a letter basically to Shaw's family saying, we buried him with his, and they used the N-word. Now, again, they meant this as a diss to his family. Like, we buried him with some black people. Oh, how do you like that? How do you like that? His family then responds with a letter saying, there's no holier place for him to be buried than surrounded by those brave and devoted soldiers. So they're basically telling the Southern people, thank you. You did us a favor. You're honoring him, burying him next to and with these brave men. The Southern people are like, what's wrong with them? No, they shouldn't be honored. They shouldn't be happy. They should be like upset and like, like disgraced. What is wrong with these people? Again, because they're not racist, and they know that their son would have wanted that, to be buried with these amazing soldiers that he helped train and fought along right side with them. Now, really quickly, this is a picture of Robert Gould Shaw. He didn't look that much different from this picture when he died. He was again like 26, maybe close to 27, maybe. And the other picture you see is a statue commemorating the 54th Massachusetts. It's on a pillar, and it's dedicated to them, the 54th Massachusetts. Okay, the first all black regiment in U.S. history. So here's my question to you. Now, remember I told you this was a suicide mission. Nobody else wanted to do it except the 54th. Now, my question to you is this: if they hadn't done what they done, going on that suicide mission, do you think people would have viewed them as a failed experiment? Because again, there were some people who felt like, hey, these black soldiers are probably going to run away. They're probably going to be scared, this and that. So if they had said, no, we're not going to do that suicide mission, oh, hell no. I'm not doing that. That's stupid. Do you think people would have then been like, oh, see, they're scared. They can't follow orders. They don't want to. They're not good soldiers. Do you think people would have viewed it like that? Or do you think people would have considered, like, yeah, I wouldn't have done that myself? What do you think? What's your interpretation? Okay. So, with that being said, there's the writing prompt on the bottom right there for you guys. Okay. Just again, be sure you know, explain why you feel that way, why you believe what you believe. Okay. Um, Now, here's the other thing. If you are in my Monday Wednesday class, and I gave you this packet to take home and do, um, you did not get the uh, research paper yet. Okay. But for the rest of you guys, if you're watching this video and it's, already like uh past the, what's it, 7th? November 7th? 8th. Sorry, the 8th. If this passes the 8th, you should have your research paper. Okay. So you should start working on that if you haven't started already. Okay. And I put on the date there. I believe it was December 7th, I want to say. I believe that is when it's due. Let's see. Yeah, December 6th and December 7th. Okay. So you got until then to get it done. Just again, be sure you answer all the questions, you do it right. Okay. Um, right. So, with that being said, guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.